What's up guys, how are you guys doing? In this video, I want to talk to you guys about a bit more about the attributes, the different attributes in Star Savior, okay? I think this is going to be a very helpful video for you guys, so you guys can get an idea on like how to utilize different attributes and stuff like that, okay? Of course, before that, I do want to say thank you so much for the support in my latest video, guys. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll try to make, a lot of guide videos and a reroll guide, especially when the game comes on and stuff like that. Since I don't have access to the KR and JP server, we're gonna have to wait until the 19th, and yeah, we're gonna be making a lot more content on this game, okay? But for this video, I want to talk to you guys about the attributes, okay? I was gonna do a team like guide right here, but I am running into a problem right here, right? So as you guys can see, if I want to put like different characters here, it works, right? As you guys can see, because I could see the team setup screen right here. But if I go down here, right, I was gonna use the Chaichara website right here, but now see, I can't even move it right here. See, so I can't put any character here. So if I let go, it doesn't work, right? So I can only do the placement when I could see the card right here. I could do like this, but if it passes this, I can't, right? So I kinda just change my mind on that. But for now, we're gonna do the attribute videos, okay? So in this in Star Savior, I'm using the Hideout guides. This is a really good website if you guys want extra websites for like more guides and stuff like that. Taichara is also pretty good, but this is also very good right here, and it's a very clean website. They do have a tier list right here, as you can see, for PvP and PvP, and I do agree with most of the placements here. Yeah, like the top tier characters make sense, right? All these guys make sense right here. Lacy, of course, being one tier down kind of makes sense because late game she kind of falls off a bit, but not too much, right? She's in the tier list, right? She's S tier on PvE and she's S tier on PvP, right? Still now, right? So she's still absolutely broken. So you guys can definitely go for her, okay? Of course, Emily and Asha are gonna be staying here for a long time. They are absolutely broken characters right here, okay? But let's get to it. In Star Savior, like I said, there are 5 different attributes. So we have the sun, the moon, the star, and the order and light, order and chaos order attributes right here. So right here, the order type and the chaos types are pretty much light and dark attributes, right? Similar to any other games, right? But these guys are like, you could say like this is fire, right? Water and like earth and stuff like that, right? And the way this works, if we go from here, the chaos and the order typing right here attributes, they actually are strong against each other, right? Chaos is strong against order, order is strong against chaos, right? It makes sense, right? But if we go down here, of course, chaos and order attributes, they are strong against all these 3 attributes right here, which makes sense. And then if we go down this way, we have the stars attribute, which is gonna be strong against moon attributes, okay? And then the moon attribute is strong against the sun attribute, and the sun attribute is gonna be strong against the star attribute, okay? So which makes sense, right? And of course, this tier list is set up with each attribute in mind, right? So we got the sun, we got all the characters in the sun attribute, we got the moon attribute right here, and we have the star. A star is missing an SS tier character, same with the chaos order. I think Rosaria, when she comes out, the collab character, she definitely gonna be up here, okay? I don't see why they wouldn't make her absolutely broken, okay? Rosaria is very, very strong in the counter side, so it would only make sense to make her SS tier 0 character, right? So she probably gonna be the new top tier DPS for chaos attribute, but star attribute, we don't know much about that. Dana is the newest character in KR, but she's not, she's A tier only, right? Which is interesting, right? And yeah, that's how the attributes work, okay? And if we look at each character, they do have, it's actually a lot better to make mono specific team in this game, okay? But the reason is because each character, right, if we look at their skills, they have something called for example, for the moon, the sun type right here, right, the sun attribute, they have something called ignition, right? What this ignition does is it increases the damage dealt to star attribute units by 1% up to 5 stacks. So that's for ignition type, right, for the sun types, right? And if we look at moon type right here, they also have similar thing called chill, and chill what does is increase the damage dealt to Sun attribute units by 1% up to 5 stacks, right? So this is why I say there is definitely a good idea to make a mono specific team in this game, because you're gonna be destroying a specific type of attribute with for example, right, if we set up like some a full moon team right here. So let me just put you on something right here. So let me find one moon character here. I could put so here, right? So this is gonna be a full mono specific team you guys can make, and this team would probably just absolutely destroy any Sun attributes right here, because they are effective against them. And then each character right here, right, each of them, they're gonna have the chill passive, right? If you look at Emily right here, she also have the chill, so she gonna be doing 5% more damage to Sun attribute characters. And if we look at like somebody like Freya, right, the bunny girl version, she also has something called the chill as well, right? So another 5% damage against Sun types, right? And if we look at somebody like Bunny Girl Claire, I think, yeah, Bunny Girl Claire, she also has something called chill right here, and it also does 5% more damage against Sun attributes. So that's about like 15% damage right there, right? And then and then lastly, we have, if we look at Luke right here, right, same thing, right? She also have chill, so that's a 20% damage against Sun attributes. So I think creating a mono specific team is very, very useful right here. Okay, yeah, if you guys are trying to target a specific type of mono attribute characters, yeah, you could definitely do so, right? Especially in PvP, right? The versus AIs, since it's already a set team, you guys can't see the team and decide on like if you guys want to use a mono specific team to counter that specific attribute team, right? So it makes sense, right? So very good right there, right? So this is another one team you guys can make, right, when it comes to a mono team. And Emily definitely works really well with like a mono team because of her kit, right? So her kit works off of, so if we read her passive, for example, right, of course this definitely could change when the game comes out, but what it does is, so if we read her passive, I'm just gonna go to the max level version right here. You guys gonna need a max dupe, right, max 3 dupe in order to get to the level 4 passive right here. Okay, that's also why dupes can be a bit important in this game, right, because it will increase their passive level, right? So what it does is, Emily maximum HP increased by 15, and at the start of the first battle, Emily generates a barrier around herself for 1 turn, and after receiving an attack, the cooldown of turn down service is reduced. And turn down service is going to be her ultimate right here, okay? And then after receiving an AoE attack, the cooldown of turn down service is reduced by an additional 1 turn, and she has a 100% chance of gaining 1 chill stack to herself. The barrier increase in proportional to her max HP, right? So that passive is not super specific, but if we read her skills, for example, right, I'll show you guys, right? So her basic skill right here, attack by swinging a giant broom, adds 1 stack of chill to herself, damage increase in proportional to her maximum HP, right? So yeah, she gets more chill stacks, which means she's gonna do more damage to Sun attributes, right? And then we have here, right, with the pride of the cleaning maid, she cleans up her allies. She increases the attack power of the target ally for 3 turns and creates a barrier. Grant herself 3 stacks of chill, right, more chill right here, and then takes an extra turn. The barrier increases in proportion to her own max HP, right? Makes sense. That's also why she's really good. Her barriers are insane. And then we have her crazy ultimate right here. Return to the mindset of a veteran mercenary and attack all enemies, increase the defense of allies for 2 turns, and awaken a memory within herself after attacking. If her own chill stacks are at its maximum, right, the cooldown time of turn down service is reduced by 2 turns. All chill stacks are removed, and damage increase proportional to her maximum, right, HP, right? So as you can see, she focuses on pretty much adding a bunch of chill stacks, and then if she have a bunch of like max chill stacks, she pretty much reduces her ultimate, and then yeah, which means she's gonna be ulting quite often, right? And the chill stacks are only 5, right? 5 is the maximum, so it's a lot easier to get stacks, which means you're gonna be doing more damage to Sun attributes enemy as well, right? So that's what I mean, right? And of course, this is the recommended cards for her. If you, when you are doing the Uma Musume like game mode, trying to boost her status, and yeah, this is the type of stats you want to go for. Okay, you want to go for HP, speed, and crit rate, and then you get HP, right? So 4 HP and then 1 speed and crit rate, right? So that's what I mean by the like mono specific team right here. Okay, and if we look at similar thing with star characters, right? they have something called leap, and with it, what this does is increase the damage dealt to moon attribute units by 1 up to 5 stacks, right? Again, another pretty much all attributes, they have a specific passive that does more damage to the attributes they are strong against. Okay, if we look at order, for example, they have a passive called insight that increases damage dealt to chaos units by 1 turn up to 5 stacks, right? So of course each of these different passives have a maximum stacks of 5. So yeah, amazing, right? So if you are using a full team of, like, let's say light team or chaos team, or a star team, you're gonna be doing 20% more damage, right, towards the weakest towards the attribute you are like strong against, right? And then we have the chaos, right? Similar thing. And the chaos units right here, they have something called upheaval, and it increases damage dealt to order based enemies by 1% up to 5 stacks, right? So yeah, that is how the attribute stuff work, okay, in this game, right? Attributes definitely meant, I think mono specific teams are gonna be quite useful. Of course, order and chaos characters, you guys can use them with any of these attributes, but they are gonna be a lot stronger if you are using them with like their own like attribute, right? And inside like a mono team, right? So that is the idea behind Star Saver attribute system. I think I like it. It makes sense, right? It's very good. Of course, you guys can combine different like attributes to make a team, which is no big deal, right? For example, you can make something like for example, Ashura, she works with everything, right? So you guys can definitely use her with every character right here, and you could put something like this, right? So you could put Emily right here for tanking, and you could put like somebody like her, right? Lacy right here, right? The top tier team right here. And then for DPS, you could put like somebody like, let me just find one really good DPS right here, and we're gonna go from there. So if we look at okay, so if we look somebody like Luna, right? Yeah, you guys can make something like this, right? Luna, she have insane amount of damage, so you could definitely do a similar team like this, okay? And one more thing I do want to say is, when you are creating a team, be aware, right? You want to put your tanks in the front row, okay? Because when the enemy attack, they are pretty much gonna be targeting this row right here, right? The front row right here. As you can see, let me just show you guys what I mean, right? Look, inside the team setup right here, the enemy in the front row, they have 80% chance to get targeted, okay, by the enemy. So that way, so if you put the tank in the front right here, yeah, you could easily protect your DPS and like buffers and stuff like that, okay? Because the enemy will be focusing the attack on the front line right here, okay? So this is very important when you set up a team, okay? And then this side right here, the front, so not the front row, but it's a back row right here. So as you can see, it says enemy attack back rows is 20%, right? So if you put somebody like, let me just show you guys. Let me go back here. Yeah, let me go here, right? So if you put somebody like Lacy here, if the tank dies, they're most likely going to be attacking Lacy next, okay? Because they have a 20% chance to attack Lacy right here. And then your DPS is most likely the least character that's going to be attacked by the enemy, okay? And then the front row is same thing, right? Because, but yeah, similar thing, right? If the tank dies, your chance of these two getting hit is pretty high. But I think the back row right here are going to be targeted often if the tank dies, okay? And after that one, it's going to be this right here. That's going to get targeted, okay? So yeah, the setup, the team setup thing works, is important, right? So definitely pay attention to that. As you can see, right? Defenders get priority target when in party, right? So that's definitely why it's kind of crucial to use defenders in your team setup, okay? You could also put like somebody like Lacy in the front, because what Lacy does is, if you look at Lacy's kit, she actually heals herself when she gets hit, okay? So if you look at her passive, right, increase Lacy attack power by 15, and after Lacy attacked by an enemy in the entangled dream state, so she have something called entangled dream, and when she is inside this state, when she gets attacked, she actually heals herself, and she increases her action gauge, right here. As it says, right, enemy in this entangled dream state, her action gauge increases by 10%, and she recovers HP, right? The amount of recovered HP increase is proportional to her attack power. Makes sense. And then we got her basic card right here, right? Which is after attacks with a breeze of fire, granting 1 stacks of upheaval to the user, right? Again, right? which means when you have this stack, you're gonna be healing and pushing your turn meter when you get attacked by the enemy, right? And then we got her skill. Attacks with a column of backflowing water. On speed increases for 2 turns. If the target is entangled dream state, damage increases by 20%, right? Again, she works off of her entangled dream, right? If she has 0 stacks of entangled dream, she kind of sucks because she won't be healing, she won't be pushing her turn meter, and she won't be getting this damage increase, okay? So this entangled dream is very, very important. And then we have her ultimate, which is a poem of water and fire. Attack with a sword imbued with the power of water and fire. Increase on attack power for 2 turns and cause all enemies to entangle in a dream of state for 3 turns with a 100% chance, right? Another amazing, right? So you definitely want to utilize her ultimate and her skills to get those entangled dream stacks. And so because of that, you guys can actually put her in the let me show you guys. It's not letting me change the character right here. So you could actually put Lacy in the tank role, and she's gonna be tanking because she's gonna be healing herself whenever she gets hit, right? So that's one way you guys want to go. You guys can do it if you guys don't have like a tank. But if you guys have a tank, definitely put the tank in the front row right here, okay? Because they're gonna be targeted quite often, and that's you'll be easily protecting your team and stuff like that, right? So that is. Sorry for the getting sidetracked, but I just want to explain a quick about like the team setup process, okay? Anyways, man, that's it for the video. I'm probably gonna be making a team guide when the game comes out, but right now I won't be able to do that right now. And I'll also be making a character guide, right, for each specific SSR characters and stuff like that. And of course, we're gonna be also making a reroll guide as well when the game comes out, right? So you guys can know how to reroll and stuff like that, right? And who to reroll for as well, right? Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye bye guys.